There is a silence around him tonight that echoes louder than any word. A kind of restlessness that keeps him awake, because your name is still circling inside his chest like a prayer he doesn't know how to articulate. The angels say, he is finally beginning to understand that this feeling isn't just about attraction, longing, or nostalgia. It's recognition. Soul-deep recognition. And that terrifies him more than it comforts. He believed he was in control of his heart. He thought he could compartmentalize what he felt for you, locking it behind the walls he's spent years building. But something about your presence, your light, your truth, the sacred stillness in your gaze, has disarmed every defense. And he doesn't know how to carry this anymore without giving it a name. That's why he hasn't slept. He's starting to see that what binds him to you didn't start in this life. There's something ancient in the way your souls lean toward one another. The angels say, you weren't sent to him by chance. You were assigned. You were chosen. You were called. And now, the resistance he once held so tightly is loosening its grip. Because the ache of not having you is beginning to weigh heavier than the fear of surrendering. The questions he avoided, why you, why now, what this all means, are rising to the surface. And with each breath, he edges closer to a confession that could change everything. You have awakened something in him. Not only a longing, but a remembrance. A sense of home. And the heavens are whispering in his ears, even as he lies in bed pretending to be asleep, she is the one. And he knows. For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. Ephesians 2 verse 10. He wanted to love you with ease, but love never arrived softly for him. From the beginning, there were things he never shared with you. Not because you didn't deserve to know, but because he didn't know how to express them without falling apart. The angels show me an old grief buried so long ago that he forgot it was still alive, until your presence stirred it awake. You see, he learned early on that closeness leads to loss. That vulnerability is an invitation to be broken. And so he built walls. Not out of pride, but out of protection. Each silence, each moment of hesitation, was not rejection, it was a memory. A memory of being left behind, of not being enough, of giving everything and facing absence in return. The angels say, what you mistook for indifference was really a means of survival. You brought him light, but also mirrors. And light, while beautiful, reveals the dust. You made him feel seen, and being seen has always been his greatest fear. There's a part of him that clings to logic, trying to justify the distance he places between you. She's too good, he thinks. Too radiant. She'll see through me. And so, he retreats. Again and again. Not to punish you, but to punish himself. Because a part of him still believes he isn't worthy of this kind of love. He doesn't yet realize that your heart was never asking for perfection. Only for presence. Only for truth. And while he battles his shadows, the angels are working on his behalf. Softening his spirit. Preparing his heart. Healing the bruises he forgot he carried. They say he's closer than ever to crossing that threshold. But first, he must sit with his ghosts. And no, he doesn't have to face them alone anymore. You have held space for him so many times, haven't you? In your silence. In your patience. In the way you kept showing up, even when he couldn't. But now, the angels are turning to you. Gently, firmly. And they whisper, daughter, you cannot pour from an empty soul. You were never meant to take on his healing burden. You were sent to awaken, not to save. You were meant to reflect light, not to dim your own while waiting in his shadows. This is not abandonment. This is sacred balance. When you chose to love him, you didn't give up your right to rest, to experience joy, to be held, too. Yet, you've spent nights wondering if loving him means losing parts of yourself. That's not love. That's erosion. The angels say, step back, not to punish him, but to reclaim yourself. There is a fire within you that must remain lit. Your joy is not a reward you earn after he chooses you, It is your birthright now. And the more you choose yourself, the more you remind him of what love truly looks like. He needs to understand that your softness is not weakness, that your love is not boundless if it comes at the expense of your spirit. He needs to learn to meet you at your level, not just admire you from a distance. Because true love isn't just about devotion. It's about reciprocity. So allow your light to expand once more. Rest. Dance. Say no when it feels overwhelming. Say yes only when it comes from a place of wholeness. And when he wonders where your energy went, let the angels respond for you. She is finally loving herself the way she always wanted to be loved. He doesn't quite understand why being around you feels like standing too close to the sun. There's something in your gaze, calm, unwavering, that disarms every mask he thought he needed. The angels show him flinching at your honesty, not because you're harsh, but because you're clear. And clarity terrifies those who still hide from themselves. You didn't mean to expose him. You were just being you. But what you reflect back to him is everything he buried. His hunger for connection, his ache for something real, the broken places he promised he'd never reveal to anyone again. The angels say, your soul speaks a language his wounds remember. He watches you navigate the world with confidence. He sees the way you feel deeply but never lose yourself. How you offer gentleness without becoming small. And it stirs something dormant within him. A question. A yearning. An unease. Because you don't just make him desire you, you make him want to evolve. But that evolution isn't easy. It requires shedding layers, confronting fears, unlearning the truths he grew up believing. And sometimes, that's overwhelming. So he retreats. Masks his fear as indifference. Pretends your words didn't resonate. But the reflection you've held up to him has already made its impact. The angels say, even if he looks away, he can't unsee what he discovered in your presence. And perhaps that's your sacred role here, not to fix him, not to keep waiting, but to simply be the mirror. Because truth doesn't plead. And light doesn't pursue. You've already given him the greatest gift, the reflection of his own soul through your love. It all started in silence, this unfolding. Not in grand gestures or confessions, but in the way his thoughts now pause at the mention of your name. The way your absence resonates louder than your presence ever did. The angels say, he's awakening slowly, like morning light seeping through closed curtains. At first, he didn't notice. He went about his days as usual, same routines, same distractions. But then, your voice began to haunt his stillness. Your laughter appeared in the spaces between breaths. Your truth started to challenge his illusions. Something is shifting. And though he may not fully understand it yet, his soul does. The angels show him standing at the edge of a feeling he can't articulate. He's begun to question everything. Why you, why now, why this connection won't let him go. It's not clarity yet, but it's a stirring, a quivering. And the more he resists, the more the signs multiply. He unexpectedly hears your favorite song, dreams of you without intending to, thinks of the moments you shared at the most random times, those memories carrying weight, substance, and urgency. This is not coincidence. This is soul memory resurfacing. And although he tries to rationalize it, the pull is too strong. Your name now lives under his skin. The things you said replay like mantras. The lessons you brought are seeds, and they are starting to grow. The angels whisper, he is beginning to see the divine in what you shared, even if he cannot yet name it. It won't be sudden. It rarely is. But the awakening has begun. And once it starts, the old ways no longer fit. You've opened a door within him. And on the other side is truth. He reaches out, then pulls back. Looks at you with longing, then turns away. You felt it like a tide, pulling you close, only to vanish just as you begin to trust it. The angels say, this is not rejection. It is fear masquerading as rhythm. His heart wants in. His mind screams to run. And so he dances in and out of your life not because he doesn't feel, but because he feels too much. He hasn't yet learned how to hold it. You remind him of all he desires, but never believed he could keep. Stability, intimacy, home. But home, for someone who has only known chaos, can feel like a trap before it feels like a sanctuary. The angels whisper, this pattern is his protection. When he disappears, he is not punishing you. He is fleeing from the part of himself that believes love always comes with pain. When he returns, it's because the pull of your energy is stronger than his fears. But this cycle, though familiar, is not sustainable. You are not meant to revolve around someone else's emotional weather. You were made to rise. Still, the angels want you to know, this cycle is also a classroom. And both of you are students. Every time he returns, it's because something inside him is shifting. He wants to try again. Wants to be brave. But the wound is deep, and healing never follows a straight path. This is not your burden to fix. Only to understand. Because when you name the pattern, you take away its power. And when you stop blaming yourself for his ups and downs, you reclaim your own shore. Let him go if he must. Let him return only if he brings peace. Your love has never begged to be acknowledged, yet it has always healed. The angels say, he felt it in the moments you said nothing, in the pauses between your words, in the way you held space for him, even when he couldn't find the words for what he felt. You didn't offer love like a promise, you offered it like a prayer. And prayers, even when whispered, leave echoes in the soul. He didn't realize it at the time. But something in him began to soften. The armor loosened. The struggle within him, between staying distant and drawing closer, started to lose its edge. Not because you demanded anything, but because your love didn't require him to be more than he was. It simply reminded him of who he could be. The angels say, you were the medicine he didn't know he needed. He found safety in your presence, even when he couldn't name it. And that safety allowed him to feel something he had long abandoned. He began to feel seen, not just for the mask he wore, but for the parts he tried to bury. And now, even in your silence, that healing continues. Because true love doesn't disappear when words fall silent. It lingers. It grows in the unseen. You've given him a new blueprint. Not through grand declarations, but through the sacred ordinary. Your patience. Your gentleness. The way you never asked him to become someone else. And though he may not yet be able to return it, the angels want you to know, he feels it. All of it. Your love is not in vain. It has reached the deepest places within him. And slowly, he is learning how to hold it with both hands. There is a path unfolding, quiet, sacred, slow. You cannot see it yet, but the angels have been walking ahead of you, clearing what must be cleared, softening what must be softened. What feels like delay is, in truth, divine preparation. The angels say, be still. What is meant will not pass. This love, this soul-tied connection, has never been random. You were not placed in his life for distraction. You were placed there as a mirror, a reminder, a compass pointing back to the heart. And though he has stumbled, wandered, questioned, it was all part of the awakening. You wonder if he'll ever truly choose you. The angels whisper, he already has, in ways he doesn't yet understand. The delay is not denial. It is grace. Grace allowing him time to become the version of himself that can hold you with both strength and softness. Grace that guards your heart from walking beside someone still learning to stand. There is timing at work that your heart may resist, but your soul recognizes. Divine time doesn't rush. It ripens. What you are waiting for is not just a man's choice. It is a soul's alignment. And in the quiet, in the in-between, the heavens are moving. Dreams are being stirred. Truth is being illuminated. Wounds are being healed. Yes, it's slow, but it's sacred. And when he finally steps into the fullness of what he feels, when his voice finally speaks what his soul has long known, it will not be small. It will be a turning point. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29 verse 11. He is strong in the world's eyes, but soft where you touch him. There is a tremble inside his heart every time he imagines being truly seen by you. Not the version he carefully curates, but the real fractured, longing man behind the eyes. The angels say, he does not fear you. He fears being known by you. To be loved is one thing, but to be loved in his naked truth, before he feels ready, before he's healed what still bleeds, that's the kind of love that unravels him. And yet, it's also the love that calls him home. You have a way of sitting in silence that says, I'm still here. And that stillness? It's sacred. He wants to let you in. The angels see it. They show him rehearsing words he never says, imagining moments he still denies himself. He holds back not because he doubts you, but because he doubts his own worth. He doesn't know how to be held without putting on a show. He doesn't yet trust that he can fall apart and still be cherished. But each time you look at him with grace instead of pressure, each time you stay present without demanding proof, it teaches him something his past never did, that love can be safe. The angels say he is beginning to soften, beginning to believe. Vulnerability, for him, has always meant exposure. But with you, it's beginning to look like freedom. And even if his steps are small, even if his heart speaks in whispers instead of declarations, know this, he is coming closer. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9. There comes a moment when the chase must end, not because you've given up, but because your soul has grown wiser. The angels whisper, what is divinely yours never runs from you. It only prepares to meet you fully. You've loved deeply, silently, with a heart wide open with hope. You've waited, forgiven, held space. And now, you are being called to release, not the love, but the need to control its unfolding. Let go of the timelines, the conditions, the quiet ache of unanswered questions. This love is not slipping through your fingers, it's being carried by hands you cannot see. He is still finding his way. And you, dear soul, are not meant to remain in the waiting room forever. You are meant to dance again. To laugh deeply and fully. To feel complete, with or without what once seemed essential. The angels say, your surrender is the seed for your next season. By releasing the outcome, you create space for divine orchestration to do what your efforts never could. And if he returns, and he very well might, it will be as the man who chose you not out of fear, but from a place of abundance. And if he does not, know this, you never lost. Because love never diminishes the giver, it sanctifies her. You were the blessing. The answer to a prayer he wasn't ready to accept. And that is not rejection, it's sacred timing. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where the light begins anew. What's meant for you will always find you. Not because you held on tighter, but because you let go with grace. Amen.